All right, guys, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. We're back in the world famous donut shop.
Shit.
We got Uncle P here today. So let's talk about this Muni Pier we got going right now. What's up with the Muni Pier in San Francisco?
Muni Pier in San Francisco, that's one of the greatest things they ever made. Nice, almost half-moon shaped pier, an aquatic park. It's the beginning, it's like what you call the birthplace of fishermen.
Hell yeah.
When we was all like little babies with our mamas and daddies, we going fishing. Oh, okay, where we going? Muni Pier,
Yep.
aquatic park.
That's where it went.
And I remember we couldn't even look over the rail. I was so small. I'd be like, okay. And we started fishing there, man. We got there, people was just snagging on the jack smelts. Put a little bobber, a couple 3 hooks, a little half-ounce sinker. Bam, on these little fiberglass poles.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, they would be bending over like a circle, jigging for anchovies. You could see the anchovies, man, looking in the water with so
And
many.
what was this though? What year was this?
Oh man, that's when I was a little shit.
So like
64.
60. Damn.
That's when I started. But after me came what? Generations of people.
Oh, for sure.
And then they start crabbing.
Yep.
Catching red crab and Dungeness. And there's people that can tell you lots of stories about Dungeness crabs. We never even knew nothing about no limit or nothing. We just caught a bunch of crab. They were, most of them were good size.
Yeah.
You know, I bet you there was some 9-inch Dungeness came out of there back in the day.
So when did they stop letting you catch Dungeness crab inside the bay? Because I always thought you can catch them
That was in the
inside the bay.
70s.
Okay.
And then sometime in the 70s, they said we couldn't fish for Dungeness in the bay anymore. And that was just one of the dumbest things because they're supposed to spawn in the bay, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But Muni Pier, man, people used to go there all night long. People used to like commute from Half Moon, what do you call that? San Jose and East Bay.
Everybody from the Bay Area would come up here. This
People
is
would come.
this is the hub.
And they would throw out crab nets and we'd be out there like, hey man, you're too close, this and that. But after a minute, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Closer, come get closer to me. That's just more chum in my area.
Yep. Straight up.
People caught a heck of crabs. People had a good time. And then the park police got down on everybody. They came out like in the middle of the night and just started nailing people with tickets. And that started putting the kibosh on the Dungeness crabs roll. But the thing was, Muni Pier was really cool because there's a rocky structure that it's built upon.
Okay.
Or rocks were dumped to hold it together, right?
Okay.
The best fishing was underneath the pier. I didn't find that out until I was old. But my friends, they used to climb under the pier. It was like a little crawlway or whatever. They nailed the perch and the rockfish and the striper. But think about it. They got a rocky structure going out, making like a half moon. You got heck of current out there on the end.
Yeah.
Which right before they closed it up was one of major halibut spots. Major. Guys are getting limits of halibut out there off the anchovies. You had, back in the day, you had flounder, you had sand dab, you had stuff called turbot and rexole, and you had lots of kingfish. You had perch, big eye perch, pile perch, rubber lip perch,
Jesus.
rainbow perch, pokey perch, big old suckers. They had Tommy cod. Nobody asked them, what's a Tommy cod? Little smooth skin sucker about like this here. They had bass. They had salmon. The pier was just phenomenal. But it was a nice place for families because it wasn't like now. It wasn't all violent and all hoodie and stuff. It was just like people would come from all over with their families. They would do little barbecues at Aquatic Park, and the kids could play in the sand in Aquatic Park. They had a little shower, outdoor shower at the Dolphin Club, and the one next door to it called the Rowing, some kind of rowing club, San Francisco Rowing, I forgot. But it was really nice. And then from there, you could wander off and go over to Fort Mason. You go up that little hill and down, and they had a little torpedo wharf. That was always closed off. But it was just really nice. I mean, you really get, an idea of how it was just started. Like I know kids, that are half my age. They grew up fishing Muni Pier.
I was one of those kids.
That's right.
It's one of those
And then
kids.
from there, we just started migrating around looking for other spots. And then we found better bass spots. Pier 7 was a phenomenal bass spot.
I'm having Pier,
Phenomenal.
they shut Pier 7 down?
No, Pier 7, they kind of rebuilt it, which, well, usually when they rebuild something, they screw it up.
Pretty much.
But my first day with my buddy Michael, my neighbor, we went to Pier 7, and they had the biggest kingfish, 2 pounds, maybe more, gold, you know?
Yeah.
And we walked out there, and there was like 5 stripers on at the same time. There was all these guys fishing straight up and down, you know, with live anchovies.
Yeah.
And they had some salmon. You know, not like 1 salmon, but like maybe 5 salmon. Guys had limits of bass. The limit was 3 back then. But big bass. No little bass like,
Yeah.
no, man. They had bass. They had bass so big, man, a little chihuahua could walk in and out of the mouth, you know? You're talking 30-pound, 40-pound bass. And then, you know, we go to the ferry building from there, and we got back into the crabbing there because they had big crabs. A lot of 6 1/4, 6.5 inch crabs. Life was good back then. But that aquatic park, it was really nice. But then it started falling apart because the ship hit it in the 50s. That broke that piece like in the middle. But after that, it just got old and started crumbling. But the stupid city, instead of putting money into it, because everything costs more every year that goes by, they say, okay, here's $100 million, you know, let's rebuild the damn pier. No. They start mealy-mouthing around about, oh, we'll just close it down. No, let's open it up. How many people went out there jogging every day?
No shit.
Rid jog all the way to the end and around and come back. People would walk out there. People would do walking tours. Where else can you go? Walk out. You could look at Alcatraz, Angel Island, Sausalito, Golden Gate Bridge. Watch the fog come in. Watch the sunset. Have a snack. They used to have a nice little snack bar right there in the front of the pier. Y'all remember it?
Yeah,
right there by the little what is it called? Sea Scouts. The little Boy Scout, Sea Scout thing.
Yeah.
It was wonderful, man. It was a great place. Now, closed down the pier. There was an old man used to sell crab nets and fishing gear right there.
I remember.
I remember he used to have all the little crab nets that he would go fishing back out the water when you lost them.
Huh.
He would go out there with like a gaff or something. He would just throw it out there and drag it on the bottom. But he had them. He made a couple bucks. Guy used to walk out there. We used to call him Peanut because he was selling peanuts. A Chinese cat. He had whiskey. He had peanuts. He had sandwiches. Everybody had a little hustle. But it was nice. It was a good thing. It ain't like, you know, now it's just, we go somewhere, people start tagging it and graffiti everywhere and people all drunk and acting ignorant. Can't have that, man. What kind of family environment is that?
No shit.
Fishing was a family thing. Your father, your mother, your sister, well, we're going fishing. Great, we went. Now it's all messed up, kind of. But we need places like Muni Pier. They need to actually build a couple more good piers, nice and long. So people can go catch some halibut. That's all I got to say.